Hey everybody, Playtendo Guy here, and today I'm going to review Street Fighter V. Let's begin. Street Fighter V marks a new generation of the fighting franchise with plenty of new ideas and gameplay mechanics to make the game feel more accessible. This starts as soon as you start up the game with a helpful tutorial mode where a classic version of Ryu and Ken duke it out and teach you the basics of the game. The big new mechanic to Street Fighter V is the V system. V skills are unique abilities that are done by hitting the medium punch and kick buttons at the same time. You execute V skills the same way for each character, but each character's V skill is different. Ryu gets a parry and newcomer Rashid gets a super jump that can dodge and attack back. Doing these moves and gaining damage fills up your V gauge, and with a full gauge you can pull off a V trigger. Triggers can be pulled off by pressing two buttons and can turn the tide of a losing match by giving some characters a power boost, a very useful dodge, or even something else. The fun is discovering each character's V trigger, so I won't spoil anymore, but I will tell you that the V system is a great addition to the game that adds a new level to the combat. There is also a super meter which can be used to pull off a devastating critical art that does some massive damage and are really fun and flashy to pull off. You can also use one chunk of your super meter to pull off an EX attack, which is a more powerful version of a character's special attack. This feels honestly like the best Street Fighter gameplay wise yet, as it's more accessible for newbies, but the V skills give returning fighters something new to experiment with. It wouldn't be a fighting game without an abundance of gameplay modes, and unfortunately this is where Street Fighter V stumbles, as there isn't much here. For single players there is a story mode. This is where each of the 16 characters have their own individual storylines, which sounds like there could be a fair bit of content here, but alas, each character's story only includes 2 to 3 fights, which means a character's story can be finished in fewer than 10 minutes, and honestly that's far too short for my liking. Capcom has stated there will be an update in the summer that will apparently include a more fleshed out story mode. Here's hoping the update does just that, as currently each character's story feels like they've been cut short for a rushed launch. Then there's Survival Mode. This is a really fun mode where you pick your character and have to fight a specific number of enemies with only one health bar, which may sound a bit hard, but you can use your score you earn in the match to buy buffs or gamble to get a bigger score. There are 4 difficulties in this mode and you need to complete these to unlock different colours for your character's costumes. Then there's the trainer mode, which is where you can brush up on your skills, and versus, but bizarrely there isn't any computer versus computer or player versus computer mode, just local multiplayer, which is a massive disappointment, as playing against a computer is a great way to train for online in my opinion. And that is unfortunately it for now for single player. No arcade mode, no single player versus mode, but next month there will be an update that will include a challenge mode in the game. How that will work out, that remains to be seen. And the summer will obviously include the more fleshed out story mode. Here's hoping these future updates will include more content than stated so far. I need my arcade and my single player computer mode versus back. What seems to be a thing for games to play is a more focus on online multiplayer, and it shows Capcom has included your casual and ranked matches, which are obvious inclusions. Then there are also rooms which you can set up your own fights. But disappointingly, you can only have one extra player in the room. I think that elusive March update will improve on it, so hopefully it'll be fixed. Then there's the Capcom Fighters Network, a bit social media like. You can follow fighters, watch replays and check leaderboards. It's a pretty good idea that'll probably be expanded later on in the year. Overall the online itself is great. The launch was pretty rocky, but it was soon fixed, and it does seem to take a while to find an online fight, but when you do, the match is fun and it runs very well. Now time for the fighters, and compared to Street Fighter 4's character roster, the 16 characters on offer, it may seem a bit small here, but each of the 16 characters are a joy to play. You have your regulars like Ryu, Ken and Chun-Li, and they're all better than ever thanks to the refined gameplay. And there are a handful of new characters, and I must say, they are great. My favourite newcomers have to be Rashid and his wind-like abilities, and Brazilian Lara and her electric abilities that make up for Blanka not being here at the moment. 16 characters is certainly not a lot, but thankfully there'll be DLC characters released every month for the next several months, and before you start thinking about waiting for a super ultra version of Street Fighter V, it's not going to happen. Capcom has stated Street Fighter V is here to stay and there won't be any super duper ultra money making versions. This is part and reason that you can collect every one of the DLC characters for free. No, your ears do not deceive you. Free. When you play matches you earn a currency called Fight Money, and you can use that currency to buy characters from the shop. The shop doesn't open till March and the price of the characters haven't been revealed yet, and I just hope they're not that pricey, but it's a good move from Capcom nevertheless. Another thing I love here is is the colourful and exotic stages, and while there's only 10 of them, each one is really fun to play in, and my personal favourite has to be the mountain stage. Here's hoping there'll be some more coming out later. Graphics and sound now, and boy doesn't the game look pretty. Each character model looks insanely detailed and stages look equally phenomenal. PS4 power has really been made this title look stunning. The sound here is also of a high standard, the voice acting is solid and you can choose from English or Japanese voiceover, and the music itself is really high standard and quite catchy. Now time to wrap things up with a conclusion. Street Fighter V is perfect when it comes to fighting, the V skills are really useful and it's more accessible than ever, but unfortunately Street Fighter V lacks in modes, which includes a pitiful amount of content for single players and some crucial modes and features missing. Here's hoping the updates make Street Fighter V feel more like a full release and less like an early access title. I'm going to score the game on its current state now and we'll re-review it when I think it becomes more of a proper game. Street Fighter V gets a 7.5 out of 10 with a title of good. Thank you for watching my review, hope you enjoyed it, bye!